gosh.
Always.
Not fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly ship show. It is 1 p.m. It's December 5th. I'm your host, Jason Brand. I'm the Director of Outreach and Partner Development here at Supply Chain Solutions. And today we are joined again by Tyler Conn, who is the Vice President of Sales over at Sourcing Insights. Big thanks for being with us, Tyler.
Hey, Jason, how are you? Good to be here again. A little less dressed up as last time. We should have made that a thing every time we got on here, just to dress up, even though it's not Halloween.
It's very true, honestly. It was a hard decision to shave the beard or not, but I did it. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We might actually do a challenge here at some point. We might make Tyler shave his beard at some point.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, that will not happen.
There would have to be some money for charity involved. It's not long, but it kind of defines me.
Oh God, I love that. Well, before I completely shine the spotlight over on Tyler here, today's episode, it's going to be part of a 3-part series, and we're going to be kind of peppering these shows in over the next few months. And the reason why we're doing this and the reason why we're highlighting this partner relationship of ours just so much is actually pretty simple. So when our clients use Sourcing Insights in their platform, we're able to do a better job servicing them. And it's just that simple. And one of the big reasons why this is the case is because Sourcing Insights, they give us an entire new layer of information to work with. And that really allows our teams to do the best job possible at optimizing not only our customers' freight spend, but also their transportation and inventory management as a whole. So on top of that, with this information, we're able to make better decisions for your company faster, since we've just got a clearer view of the whole picture. Now, because of the information their system provides, when we fold that into our market data that our teams are using on a daily basis, we can easily see where our customers are outperforming the market or where they're underperforming. And in turn, what happens is Sourcing Insights is able to develop a strategy that helps us focus on the areas of most importance first. So you can see the best results right off the bat. And that's especially important when you're making changes to any freight management process. So before I get Tyler here to talk about our show today, I really want to emphasize this is just the tip of the iceberg. And the group over at Sourcing Insights, they've brought so many soft benefits as well. And that's because, the way their team operates and the way their system operates, they've got this ability to build these cross-departmental relationships. And it's a way that in the past, we really have never been able to do. And it's helped us turn long-term clients into long-term partners. And, they have an ability to speak the language of those different teams, and they've helped us avoid just countless speed bumps and headaches. This can be either going through the opportunity process, either going through an RFQ process, or going through an implementation, but also much beyond that. So really, for this series, the goal here is twofold. We first want to teach you about the 3 pillars of Sourcing Insights. That's visibility, control, and savings. But second, we want you to give their team a shot, so you can see the benefits of this incredible tool, but also their incredible team. So Tyler, massive thank you for joining us again. And I barely even mentioned the title here. We're focused today on visibility, the first pillar. This is going to be our laser focused topic of the show. So first things first, we've talked about this a little bit. Visibility means different things to different people, and it's been used a lot over the years, especially as software's become, a big player in the game and just driving efficiency in general. And I think at this point, the term is so broad, it's not even descriptive anymore. Right. And, you really need to have an idea of what does that mean? So let's set the frame here. Give me a breakdown of what visibility means to your customers using Sourcing Shark, but also give me a little bit of before and after of what your customers were like. I had visibility before, and then I saw the light.
Yeah. You actually hit on it inadvertently there a little bit in your intro, talking about the tip of the iceberg, right? We used to always use that in a lot of our meetings of, looking at it like an iceberg, right? You can see the tip of it and that's it, but it's everything that's below that. It's how big it is and below, and how messy it is down there. And, how deep does this go? That really starts to bring all those opportunities to light, no matter what you're looking at. Right. So yeah, we can see certain spend here. I mean, we can see, certain spend in other areas, and maybe depending on locations that you have, each place can see what they're doing. But from an overall standpoint, right, the visibility from a corporation has always been really hard to tackle. And that's where we set out to fill that gap, right? So we want to say, okay, yeah, you're doing this over here and up here and down there, but how do we see everything that we're doing all in one place, one source of truth, to be the most efficient that we can be as a company? So, when we're looking at that, we're trying to look at total company visibility, everything we're spending in every category across all suppliers, all locations, and bringing that one source of truth to all of our clients to help them out.
I love that, Tyler. I can't help but want to go down a rabbit hole right now. I'm going to avoid it, but I'm going to just tease at it a little bit. The founders of Sourcing Insights and their history at Wabash and having so much going on at that company all the time and so many custom jobs and just so much business in general. Also all of the experience in procurement as well. It like bleeds right into this perfect idea that you talked about, but we need a cleaner, clearer view of what is going on so we can make good decisions.
Yeah. Our CEO, Steve Miller, tells a story all the time about as they grew through acquisition, as Wabash was growing through acquisition, that there were times that he was having to call suppliers to figure out as a total company what they were buying from them, which puts you in a terrible negotiating position, right? Because you don't have that. So that's where you set out and you're like, okay, now I have control over it. I don't have to go to them to ask for this information. I have everything here. I have all the data that I need for the negotiation power. And I'm not relying on, honestly, information that even the supplier may have incorrect, right? Because maybe you get 2 of the 3 companies that we have, but you don't get the third one. And oh, by the way, we're also buying it from 3 other places that I forgot to go get it from them, right? So being able to capture that yourself, and really build on that and build those strategies and efficiencies is second to none.
I want to dive in even a little further. This is unfortunately I like cookie from the cookie jar kind of thing. Okay, so beyond that, right? Your team also helps customers kind of decide what's important. I mean, you guys advise your customers, hey, here's your information, here's what you're doing, but wait, whoa. There's a better way of doing this. You guys advise the best practices of using your tool, but also you act almost as a consultant in many situations in helping them get the most out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll actually, you're exactly right. We, in a lot of our engagements, we'll say like, we are an extension of your team, right? So, hey, let us help you run some of these benchmarking projects and take some of that minutia that you might have off of your plate, put it on our plate. Let us go gather everything, get the pricing, bring it back to you in one easy fail swoop that says, hey, here's what it is. Now we can just make a decision rather than spending months at times, right? Digging for the data, going out, looking for suppliers, looking for new suppliers, and trying to make those decisions. So yeah, we absolutely, from a consulting side, we'll go out and help clients, run those different programs.
Tyler, I love it. And I can't help but think about this, that, I kind of mentioned it a little bit in my intro, but we also view your team as an extension of our team as well. You've really helped kind of cement relationships, especially, when you're getting engaged with a new company and you're kind of learning their culture, you're learning their ways, you're learning kind of some of the stickier points in presenting a solution and such. You guys have been able to break down those walls in a way that I've never seen before. And just the organizational trust that you have from your customers it's unbelievable. And so I kind of want to switch gears. I want to ask, another question. So obviously you guys help us do our job better, and your tool, what you guys are able to provide, how you guys help us work with the clients, it helps us design better strategies that fit their needs better, sometimes better than even the individuals we're talking to let us know, right? I mean, because you've got more department insight, you've got more data to back up those choices, and we can kind of show them what they're doing in some circumstances, which helps them understand why we want to do something. But what I really want to ask is, so tell me about, how is this level of visibility that you get from Sourcing Shark, how does it drive your customers' commodity strategies as a whole?
Yeah. So the really cool thing about the tool is we go down to the part level detail on everything, right? So when you talk about strategy, Whether you're a big company or a small company, you're having strategies, for each commodity. So you may say you have 6 suppliers for one specific part number in a commodity. Well, hey, you guys you're in this whole planning process, right? In Q4, hey, we're making the plan for 25, and we really want to go out and let the suppliers know, okay, here's what you can expect from us. Well, we're not only able to help them get the visibility of, okay, hey, here's how much we're buying, here's how much we're buying it for, here's all 6 companies that we're buying it from. Okay, here's how we're going to break this up from spend, right? Maybe we're doing, 60% and 20% and 20%, and we're cutting out 3 suppliers. Well, now they have that ability to not only track that and know what those numbers are, right? But as they're going through the year, they can take a break at the end of Q1. With Sourcing Shark, you can slice and dice the data you want to. So they can only look at a date range of the first quarter, and then they can start to say, okay, yep, we're right on track with that strategy that we wanted for this commodity of we're breaking it up, whether that's, doing some international buying and how much domestic buying we're doing, and making sure that those volumes are split the way they want them. And then maybe it's, hey, we wanted to try this. It's not working. We can pivot, and we know who we need to go to make that pivot as well.
I love that. That last line reminds me of Jeff Bezos was doing that podcast, and he talked about one-way doors versus two-way doors. And I think you hit on a really big point. This tool helps you identify two-way doors easier, which doors you can try out and which doors you can walk back out of. And then also another thing I think that is excellent, talking about this strategy discussion, and also specifically talking about domestic versus international spend and your supplier split, is we're obviously going into a new administration right now. There's obviously not a lot of new proposed tariffs right now. You think about that two-way door concept, you think about your supplier split, you think about the visibility of what you're doing. This is a great opportunity to kind of first get a snapshot of, hey, what are we doing? How are we going to get affected by all of this?
Yeah.
B, let's actually measure the effect, and let's compare and see if a strategy shift even makes sense before we do it. And oh man.
And I think a lot of that is that's true. You hit on it right there. Is there's a lot of uncertainty, so they're gonna take their plan of what they think it's going to be and run it through that first quarter, then absolutely say, okay, hey, yes, those tariffs are what we thought they were going to be. We're good with the strategy, or just like you said, no, we need to pivot and do something else for the sake of the business and go in a different direction. It's having the visibility of where you can quickly go with it, instead of saying, okay, now we have to come up with a new strategy.
Yeah.
I got to go gather all this data and figure out where it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now you've had that, you can track it. We're watching it happen live, right? So we know exactly where to go with it.
Exactly. You can shorten your cycle time. You can make more decisions. You can find the better decision. And you're also reminding me how bad I feel for anybody going through a budgetary process right now who does have a lot of international spend, because there is a lot of uncertainty. I mean, there's been a lot of things announced. There's something to plan around, but talk about a busy December. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah.
And, but this, I just want to quick throw this out here because, I know your process of getting set up with a company and kind of taking your first snapshot of what's going on is very fast, but I want you to remind everyone about what that process looks like, how quick it can be, just so if they're interested before a lot of these changes come through, getting a snapshot of what they're currently doing and maybe some opportunities for improvement. What would the timeline look like for you guys?
Yeah, really for us, it's pretty quick. A lot of the upfront time is when we're working with the company's IT team, right? Because there's there's a script that we're looking for to pull specific data out of their ERP system. So once that's set up, and we have a lot of those for your bigger named ERPs already done, right? Your SAP, Oracle, NetSuites of the world. We have a lot of that already done. So that's normally, it's only a couple hour process with somebody in IT. And once we get it, we can turn around an analysis in 10 days or less.
That's awesome.
So we're getting it set up, and then we can come back to that client with a proof of concept and say, hey, here's what we see. At that point, we don't know a lot about their business. We know enough to be dangerous. We know what the data says,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know why somebody's strategy is what it is until you have those conversations. Because something may make sense to you initially. You talk to them like, well, this is why we do that because of X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everything then makes sense. So, but we can get the data from the time we get it, in 2 weeks or less. We can be back to them with an assessment of proof of concept. Here's what it is. Here's where we think. Let's go to work. Let us go to work too.
Well, yeah, you're leading me right into what I want to be the final question, because short, sweet, to the point. We're going to have this series, but quite frankly, it really is about this idea of data is not all the same, right? And I want you to kind of explain what the difference is between making the data visible is, and also what making the data actionable is, and why are those two separate things?
Yeah. So yeah, you can make the data visible, right? I can go gather a bunch of stuff I can do a bunch of downloads from our ERP and put things on Excel spreadsheets and try to run some pivot tables. And that's technically visibility, right? I can now see how much I'm spending with certain people. I can see kind of where I'm spending it. In some cases, I can see like what I'm paying for it, right? Most of the time, you're not getting that level of detail with just the downloads and using Excel to run those projects, right? But then making it actionable is what we're taking. So we're putting it into the system, and it's throwing up opportunities of price movement, right? Of payment terms, right? How are we running payment terms? Are our prices running with the index, right? That's one huge thing that we're doing with a lot of those commodities is, yeah, you've got it. And I'm getting that visibility of what I'm paying. Say I'm even able to get that from a download. Well, okay, now I have to say, is that what the market is saying, what I should be paying, right? Making sure that that's ebbing and flowing with the market. So if it's not, I can take action, get ahead of it, and go start making those negotiations like, hey, Mr. Supplier, yeah, the index went up and our prices went up, but it also fell and now our prices aren't falling. Why, right? Mm-hmm. So it's being able to see something or being able to see it, look at it, make a plan, make a strategy, and then go execute on it are two completely different things. And really how long that takes too, right? You may be able to take this data and make it visible, and then 3 months from now, I can go do something with it. Or I can have this data, immediately have it in our system, and within a day, I'm actually taking action. We're making sure people are doing what they're doing. If it's the supplier scorecarding, the visibility of that, right? Hey, I know who's failing, and I can let them know now rather than it being too late and I'm in a bad spot from an inventory standpoint. And now I've got to go have a conversation and try to find a backup because I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know they were failing as bad as they were.
I love it. Tyler, excellent job. And actually what I think you ended on a wonderful point too, because we did go into more depth on the supplier scorecarding process in our Halloween episode. So if you are interested in learning more about that, make sure you check out that episode. So really this is visibility, but this leads directly into control. So I guess I want to put it on you real quick. Explain, how does visibility lead into control?
Yeah, a little bit of what I just talked about with that strategy of being able to control those suppliers now, right? I can control where I'm going with this strategy. I can control how fast I'm reacting to my suppliers and that scorecard, right? I can see by this commodity, okay, I have 6 suppliers in this commodity. Now I know from a scorecarding standpoint, maybe who's failing or who's dragging us down, and we can start to kick those out and redirect that strategy. But it allows us to have control over the spend, where we're spending, how much we're spending, the payment terms, like I touched on. Are we taking advantage of those terms, or are we paying early, right? I need to get control over my cash flow. So what does that look like? Well, I have 60-day terms, but I'm paying them in 45. Well, now I can have that visible to me. I can take control over that, go, either renegotiate pricing or just renegotiate the terms to where we were and go from there. So the visibility starts everything, and then you get into not only spend control, but process control along with it.
Tyler, I think you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. And I really like how you're breaking this down, because I think it is really in bite-sized pieces that people can understand really well.
Yeah.
And you're touching beautifully on our next episode. So it's not going to be next week, but it's coming up in the next month and a half. We're going to be touching specifically on control, some of the things that Sourcing Shark focuses on to help you control the cash flow, but also across the board. So Tyler, any final words before we close up today?
No, it's happy to be on here. Happy to be a part of the series. I'm really excited to get all this out there and introduce people to Sourcing Insights and Sourcing Shark, and help them take their procurement to the next level in 2025.
I love it. I love it. And we really love having you guys on the show. I think this is the perfect time. Make sure you reach out to us or Tyler directly to kind of learn a little bit more. If you are in a situation where you have that international and domestic spend and you're really trying to strategize, there is not a better time just to get a snapshot of what's going on and determine if Sourcing Shark, Sourcing Insights is the right path forward, especially for 2025. So again, Tyler, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining. Make it a great week.
Thanks, everybody.